Hello, football faithful, and welcome back to another episode of the Double Doink Podcast. My name is Brendan Deeg. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. You can also rate the podcast and review the podcast wherever you do listen to your podcast. It would also be greatly appreciated. Today's episode is sponsored by Manscaped. Ho, 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 gentlemen. The holidays came early here at Manscaped, the leading men's hygiene brand. Manscaped just launched new products, including their all-new ultra-premium body wash and a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. It's time to give yourself or someone who needs it the gift or beautiful skin, hair, and balls this holiday season. Go to manscaped.com and use code DOINK, D-O-I-N-K, for free shipping. Untrimmed pubes are a thing of the past, and it's possible you have Santa's beard in your pants. Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the signature Lawnmower 4.0. This electric trimmer has proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to reduce cuts on your nuts. It's also waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. It's like a gift your partner with less mess. The Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Crop Preserver and the Crop Reviver and anti-chafing ball deodorant, moisturizer, and toner. It's time to keep your North Pole feeling and smelling fresh. Get 20% off and free shipping with code DOINK, D-O-I-N-K, DOINK at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping using code DOINK at manscaped.com. Take your ball defense to the promised land with Manscaped. This episode is also sponsored by CoolBet. CoolBet is the most transparent gaming company in the world. CoolBet also provides the best odds in Canada with world-class customer service. For first-time users, use deposit code DOINK, D-O-I-N-K, DOINK, for a 100% welcome bonus up to $200 when signing up with CoolBet. That's code DOINK, D-O-I-N-K, DOINK, and CoolBet will match your first deposit up to $200. Give our friends at CoolBet Canada a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at CoolBet Canada. CoolBet, stay cool and bet responsibly. All right, we are talking Eagles on Eagles Talk with Deeg with my friend Thomas Petersen. My man, how we doing?
We're doing perfect. We have a win, and it's a significant win, and everything is great in Eagles country this week. So, I mean, it feels great this week, doesn't it?
It does. I felt like I've had a little pep to my step this week. That was you just Victory Monday was nice, and even went over to Victory Tuesday. Like started to wear off yesterday, but no, man, that was.
Then you get excited. That's when then Thursday comes around. It's like, oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. No, we were talking off air about this. This is the first time on a Wednesday or a Thursday that I was actually looking forward to Sunday to watch the Eagles and not just football in general. Like my mind was strictly Eagles. Like I have a job, of course, creating content for the entirety of the NFL and like embedding content and whatnot. But my mind was so focused on this Eagles Saints game, and I felt like this is the first time it's been like that since I'll go about week 5 or 6 of 2020 after we kind of realized that they were a bad team.
Yeah, and it feels like there's so many more positives to take away and work with moving forward after that game. And really, didn't we have that same vibe after the Chargers game? Like we felt like there were some things that started clicking, and some things that you think, all right, you can work on this moving forward. And then you have the game versus the Broncos. We have that insane first half from Jalen Hurts, and that just kind of sparked the momentum a little bit more. So yeah, feeling good.
Yeah, I know the Chargers game, like I didn't come away too upset. I know some fans were kind of freaking out after that loss, but me and you were pretty calm, cool, and collected on the podcast the next week because it was entertaining. It was like that was what you should be wanting is the Eagles to be competitive and entertaining, and they were against the Chargers, and they definitely were against Broncos. Now, I think this was the Jalen Hurts game of 2021. This was the best I've seen him play. You did a tremendous breakdown on your YouTube channel, Breaking the Birds, of Jalen Hurts' performance against Denver. Why don't we start there? Kind of quickly summarize what you saw from him.
Yeah, so you hit perfectly on it. The Chargers game, you and I agreed that if the defense got one stop, that Jalen Hurts was absolutely going to score on that last drive to win the game. You just had that feeling going into the Denver game, and then that first half kicks off against Denver, and he comes out and just looks in total command of the offense, and some of the things that you and I have been talking about, and some of the breakdowns we've looked at from Jalen Hurts earlier in the season. He had that rough stretch there against the Buccaneers and against Las Vegas Raiders, and that stretch where he just looked blinded running around in the pocket, not keeping his eyes downfield. When he decided to run, he just stops looking anywhere to throw the ball, and he just scrambles. Out and sort of makes up his mind. Against the Broncos, we saw him several times. Sometimes where he didn't find an open guy and sort of either threw the ball away or got a couple yards. But the point is that, after he, scrambled a little bit around the pocket, he went back into the pocket, and you could tell that he was looking down the field.
Mhm.
And one play that really stood out to me was that that
Was
2
the
minute
Gainwell
drive.
play? What was the Gainwell play?
Exactly,
Yes.
you read my
Yes.
mind. That
Mhm.
Gainwell play on the first play of the 2 minute drive there to finish off the first half, where he takes the ball, he looks to his left, he takes a step back in the pocket, and that's when you think, oh shit, he's gonna scramble. Nope, he takes a look to the right, he steps up in the pocket again, looks to the left, and that's when things start to tighten up in the middle, and then he scrambles out and finds Gainwell for the first down, moving the chains. That was such a good play from him. And then of course you have the Goddard play, the one where Goddard got the concussion, where he sort of gets pressure up the middle from Jason Kelsey to his right, skips to the left, resets his feet, and then has Dallas Goddard coming open over the middle. And the beautiful thing about those plays is that you don't have other options on the field where you go and you just throw that ball. You miss this play. He didn't miss anyone on those plays. Those were the open guys, and those were the guys who come in free for targets that he hit. So that was so good to see. And the deep ball, also, remember we talked about when you have fast receivers like Quez Watkins, you kind of want to put more air under the ball and let the receiver keep separating in the route
and get it off early too, right? Like that ball was out of his hand within a second, maybe 1.5 seconds max. Like the ball was out.
Yeah, and it hit Quez right in the hands.
That was his best throw of the day. Best throw of the day.
Absolutely, and that was to finish off that 2-minute drive. And if he hit that, man, that would have been among the top drives of
Thomas. I tweeted earlier in the week. I said Quez Watkins is going to burn Ronald Darby for a touchdown. He literally does it, but just can't catch the freaking ball. And on top of that, I had Quez Watkins in my anytime touchdown slate for Sunday's game. So like it was just a 1-2 punch to the gut that Quez Watkins couldn't catch a ball. But great route. That was I think his best throw of the game. And you mentioned the Kenny Gainwell play, like that play and the Goddard play were just two examples of progress and progression in this guy's game. Like in the Gainwell play, like he's taken off 9 times out of 10 in the first 6-7 weeks if he had that play in front of him. And he did it this time. And the Goddard play, like you did a really good job of kind of showing the coverage, how it was man-to-man coverage. Eagles didn't have a lot of quick man beaters off the bat in that coverage. And the way Hurts was able to step up in the pocket, move to the left, and throw the ball to that route needed time, right? That needed at least 2.5-3 seconds to get open, and he was able to do that. It was I was so I'm not saying shocked, I don't know if it's the right word, but I was like pleasantly surprised, which is how good he was. Yeah,
pleasantly surprised hits it. Absolutely does, because these are the things that we needed to see that, and that's what we got, and it just feels good, especially after the Chargers game.
100%. Like this was his best performance. The second half, there wasn't much. Like I know he had that interception. I think that was kind of on. It was a little bit on the. I think it was Dickerson got beat there. I'm not exactly sure.
That wasn't even on Jalen Hurts, to be honest. He made the right read on that play. You had like 2 guys coming across him. It was a weird design, to be honest. You had like Jalen Rager and
was it the same play that they ran with Rager against the Bucs?
No, I haven't seen this one with them before, like where they have the receiver running right in front of the tight end, and the tight end sort of stops like a double drag, and the tight end kind of just shields off whatever comes from that side. I mean, it's not dumb. I'm not saying it's a bad play. It was just weird to see it because the way it developed. Yeah. And Hurts read it perfectly, and they had a perfect setup for it with like a switch route combination to the other side. That's where you have like the 2 receivers both going deep, so that clears away the cornerback and the slot cornerback on that side. So everything is free over there. The design is good, but I said, I think it's Mailata actually getting beat. Dickerson actually had his guy traveling downfield. On the block, and just sort of some like a lot of trips over the guy who over the defensive tackle that Dickerson is blocking, and then it becomes a sack. But the almost interception that he threw to Patrick Surtain, it looked weird because usually when the Eagles have a corner route like Devontae Smith was running, they usually have a flat options, because when you're running this stuff against cover 2 or zone, at least doesn't matter if it's 2 or 3, you're gonna have that flat zone defender that is that Patrick Surtain was playing. So the flat defender has to make a choice whether he wants to come up on the flat route or he wants to come deep with the corner route. But there was nobody flat on that play. And usually they run that. I mean, they usually have that option. Every time I've seen that play, they have a flat guy. And for some reason they just didn't there. And that was the one bad play for Hurts, because you actually had two very open guys to the flanker side, like to the top side of that play, where you have three receivers and two of them are actually getting open there on the with the tight end and the flat guy. So not that wasn't a good throw. That wasn't a good decision, but it was also a weird concept.
So the Eagles' offense in general, I thought was great. I thought the play calling was awesome. I want to kind of touch on the run game here. Man, this is like the best running football team in the league over the last little bit, Thomas. Like they are pounding the rock, and it's working. The Eagles are now leading the NFC in rushing. I believe they're now fourth in rushing DVOA in total in the entire league right now, which is insanity. Yeah. They are first in rushing over the last 4 weeks in the entire NFL. This is that Jordan Howard and Boston Scott in the run game has saved this offense.
Yeah, you said that a couple of weeks now, actually. Yeah, they have absolutely.
So I want to touch on the running back rotation kind of going forward. And before we touch on the defense of the Broncos game, Miles Sanders, I get a sense that he's probably not going to play this week, but we'll see. What do you do? Like what happens going forward with the running backs? Because look, I think Miles Sanders is probably one of the most talented players on this roster. He's a great player, but right now he is the most hit or miss running back in the NFL. He either gets a big gain or he doesn't. I don't know the exact stat behind it. I know there is a stat to that, but he is I think it's about 20% of his runs either go for 0 yards or negative gain. And that's this offense isn't built to run like that. What do you do? Like, what would you do if you were in charge of the rotation for running backs?
Yeah, I think this is a topic that is going to split the waters a little bit with Eagles fans, because you have we've seen Miles Sanders peak in what he looks like when he's really in form.
Like look at the Saints game last year, right? Like he had that breakout.
Exactly, run. Perfect example. He had that massive run against the Saints in that game. That really, changed a lot of the momentum in that game, and really helped the Eagles, push that game to steal the win there. But like you said, it's just a very different running style with Miles Sanders and with Boston Scott and Jordan Howard, and yeah. So I think even before Miles Sanders was hurt, I was very unimpressed with the way he was running, and I credit it to a volume question, that he didn't really have too many running plays, so he couldn't get in rhythm and sort of couldn't get the flow of the run game, and that still may be a big factor. But then again, in the first game we saw Jordan Howard play and Boston Scott with that rotation, it didn't take 10 runs for them to get going. They hit those runs from the get-go, and we've been seeing constant 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, easy conversions for the offense, and it's an analytics-driven team, so you're getting them into a 4th and short, they're going to go for it, and they're likely going to get it with a good running quarterback who's good on 3rd and 4th down. So, like you said, I don't think they're in a rush to get Miles Sanders back, especially.
And they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be. They should have him as ready to go as possible. And when he gets in there, Miles Sanders needs to watch tape of Jordan Howard and Boston Scott. And it can sound absurd, but he needs to go out there and run the exact same style of running game that these two guys are doing. When you see the first open gap, you run through it, you smack it as hard as you can, you get what you can. And Miles Sanders is shiftier than these two guys, so that when he hits it and he makes one guy miss, he's likely gone. And that might be a scenario that we're going to see when he comes back, is that we get fewer 4, 3, 5-yard gains, and we get more 50-yard gains or 40-yard gains, or big runs where Miles Sanders springs one free, because he has that burst that Jordan Howard doesn't, and that Boston Scott sometimes is limited in due to his size. So the leash is getting shorter on Miles Sanders because the other two guys are playing as well as they are. But I also think it kind of goes into the question you and I have had about how much do you pay Miles Sanders? How
you don't
exactly.
And he does. Like I've talked about this, I think, on my Monday podcast. Like the Eagles right now, this team that over the last 3 weeks is literally the blueprint and just the formula or the reason why you don't pay running backs. Boston Scott and Jordan Howard's on the practice squad until week 8. Jabaz and Scott was claimed off of the Saints practice squad 2-3 years ago. These guys are making under $5 million a year combined right now.
Yeah.
And look what they're doing. They're the number one rushing team in the last few weeks with those two guys.
Exactly. And the way they're running, the way they're winning isn't on the perimeter. That's straight up the middle. They're bullying people on inside runs. And it's some Boston, for as small as he is, damn it, he runs hard.
Yeah.
He runs with such a low center of gravity, and when he goes through that A or B gap in behind Dickerson and Mailata, that's an automatic 4 yards. Where Miles Sanders, he just doesn't do that. He seeks east and west until he finds a gap sufficiently large enough for him to maybe get 4 yards or a massive play, or it becomes a negative play. And if there's something this offense can't have at this point, it's negative and 0 yardage plays. Second and 10 puts Jalen Hurts in a situation where he has to sort of force the ball a little bit more down the field, and then we're back to square one where we were to begin the season.
So Miles Sanders, like his week one kind of usage, I think, is probably where I'd like it to be. So in week one, he had 15 carries for 74 yards. He was on the field 66% of the time. He had a 2-point conversion that game. He had 4 receptions for 39 yards. Eagles right now are averaging 35.9 or something carries per game right now, which is a lot, but it's working. So I think they got to stick with that formula. So I know that's never going to be perfect. I know the way games go, that the carry sequence is going to go differently. But if I was Sirianni right now, I'd probably go about 15 carries, Miles Sanders, 10 carries, Jordan Howard, and I'd give about 7 to 10 touches to Boston Scott in the receiving and running game. And I think that can work. Like, there's no need to put Miles Sanders in here. And if you're going to continue to run the ball, great, but there's no need to give him 20 to 25 plus carries. It's not his game. And we've seen that before. I think I'm overreacting to it, but I also don't think I'm not, because the running game, again, like I said, has saved this team. And if you throw Miles Sanders in here and mess it up, and he's such a talented guy, so it's hard to say that. I don't know. My brain is all scattered about this because I'm worried that him entering is going to ruin things, which it probably won't, but I just have that. I just have that in the back of my head because I've loved watching Boston Scott and Jordan Howard play the last 3 weeks. It's been awesome. They've been my favorite part of the season. Yeah,
and I think to kind of summarize a little bit of how absurdly good they've been, we can take a look. The popular thing about Miles Sanders is taking up his yards per carry, because usually that's very high in terms when he's hitting on these large runs or these big plays. His average per carry usually goes up a lot. He's second lowest on the team after Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah. No.
Boston Scott and Jordan Howard are both over 5 per pop.
I don't think Miles Sanders has a touchdown this year. I could be wrong, but I'll double check that. I don't think he does. Yeah, he does not. Miles Sanders has not found the end zone yet.
Let's park it. Let's park it with this. The leash from Miles Sanders is so low that if he comes in and he in fact does slow down the offense and he can hit the holes, we know for a fact it's on him, because the offensive line is so freaking dominant in the past.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
3 weeks and even more than that when they've been running the ball. So if he comes in here and it stalls, out the door.
Yeah.
0 leash for it.
No, that's a really good point. Because we've seen now without him in the offense and how the run game works. So that's a great point. You nailed that. And just quickly before we go over to defense, this offensive line has been freaking awesome. Lane Johnson, Jack Driscoll, Jason Kelce, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata from right to left. Those guys have been awesome. And Lane Johnson probably played one of the best games an Eagle has played all year against the Broncos. He was a monster.
He was bullying people.
Yes.
Throwing people around.
I actually think that was the best game an Eagles played all year, was Lane Johnson against the Broncos. He was noticeably on my TV.
I will challenge you by going Jason Kelce.
You think
I think Jason Kelce moved people in a way that he shouldn't be moving people at his size. And it really goes back to him and Landon Dickerson really working better and better in combination on those combo blocks. It's just a thing of beauty. I mean, just turn it on and watch Jason and Landon. Even the first drive they go out there, my goodness, they're throwing defensive tackles from the A gap to the C gap.
Mm-hmm. I think this is, I don't know if it's been said before, but I think this is That's a good point. Landon Dickerson just being able to chill or beside Jason Kelce for an entire year is like just experience that you can't ask for or get anywhere else. Like he is probably learning a ton, getting a ton of knowledge, and just learning behind one of the best that's ever played in Philly. And I think that's going to help him in his growth going forward. He's been really good. He's been better than advertised. Devonta Smith has been better than advertised. Like I think both. You think he's been worse than advertised?
No. Oh. I'll say bold take. Jason Kelce is not finishing on this year. He is.
You do? I think he's gone. I think he's gone.
He's 100% going to play.
You do? Okay. That's refreshing.
He's off to one of his best starts, except for his 2018 season where he was an All-Pro. He had an absurd year that year. He played in all of the games they played. In 16 games, he allowed 3 pressures in 2018.
Yeah.
He is after the second best start of his career, and that's not even the best part. The best part of his game is still his run blocking. He's not missing a beat. He's not missing any plays. He's in the locker room and he is seeing the growth of the team. Do you think he's going to be on the team this year? And he is like, let's say they make the wild card, or they just barely make the wild card, but they really show progress as a team. They get better. They come in here with 3 first-round picks next year. They have a lot of salary cap. You think he's not going to go for another year with a much better team trying to get that ring? He's just going to say, all right, that's it, and he's going to sit down on his couch and he's going to watch this team accelerate next year? Hell no. I
think you're onto something there. Like I think if they make the playoffs and like they play really well down the stretch, and Jalen Hurts is coming back, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he loves this organization. He loves the city. He's not going to sit on his couch if this team is any good and carries momentum into next season.
Okay, yeah, I'll buy that. Like I think I came into this year just kind of thinking that this was his last year. Like he's now 34 years old. He's taken a beating. He's been one of the only healthy offensive linemen this team has basically had, like fully, over the last few years. I came into this year thinking it would be his last year, but I'm refreshed to hear. I'm refreshed to hear you say that, because I think
I also didn't think it through. I just thought of this.
No, because I had this conversation on a show, Joe Gallant, the coach, my Touchdown Town show. He had me on his show on Tuesday, and he asked me that question, and I said I'm pretty confident Jason Kelce is going to retire, but he hasn't made a ton of money. Like I'm looking at his career earnings right now. Like he's made about 60 mil. I guess that's a lot. Like, what am I going to say? It's not a lot, but I don't know. I think he could still get like 10 or 11 million dollars next year if he wanted to, right? From the Eagles, maybe even more than that. So like the money will be there if he wants it. So yeah, it's definitely a conversation or something to keep an eye on, because I also think it's going to be interesting to see what the Eagles do when he does leave. Like, is Isaac Seumalo going to take that job? Is Landon Dickerson going to take that job? So I think there's a lot kind of to be to look forward to in that aspect. Okay, let's talk the defense quick here. I thought the defense played really well. I also thought that the Broncos offense didn't play very well. I thought this is one of Teddy Bridgewater's worst games. I don't really have a ton to add to this or a ton of takes on the defense in this game. I'm kind of still stuck in the prove it to me. Like, I know that was a step in the right direction. They did play pretty well, but I think if they can hold the Saints to under like 17 points or 14 points, it will kind of flip maybe a little bit of my mindset around Jonathan Gannon in this defense.
Yeah, nothing has changed for me outside of the Darius Slay return touchdown.
That was like the best play defensive players made all year, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Aside from that, I wasn't impressed. I was more underwhelmed by Teddy Bridgewater. I think he missed a ton of open guys.
Yeah, I agree.
He missed 2 wide open. I think it was Jerry Jeudy running down the sideline on double moves that would have been sure touchdowns. And overall, I don't think the run fits were very good. I think it was a massive mismanagement by the Broncos offense, and yeah, I was not impressed by the Eagles defense.
No, I didn't. I thought that Denver played a terrible offensive game.
Yeah, I think that was. Yeah. I think for me that was more just a matter of Denver having a very shaky game plan and field goals on the Eagles. Like I don't remember what it was, like 3rd and goal or no. Goal down from the Eagles 3-yard line or something like that, and go for the field goal instead of trying to punch it in. They have some shaky decisions on offense, and I don't.
They had a block field goal too, right? Like that could have been 3
right.
points.
Yeah. I don't think.
Darius like David Taylor made a good play to fumble that off, but like he just should have held on to the ball. Back to Darius Slay saying, yeah, like I thought that was one of the better plays the defensive players made all year.
Absolutely, yeah,
and why this guy should get the ball in this guy's hands? Like my first instinct was like, why is this guy in the return game?
Exactly.
Or something, like holy crap, he's fast.
I was like, what the hell? Well, how fast is this guy? Why is this guy not returning punts? I'm sick of watching Jalen Reagor run punts.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, like it was impressive. I was and quickly on the Darius Slay thing too. I think I owe him, well, not him, an apology, but I was wrong on that trade. When they made that trade and in the 2020 offseason, I wasn't like pumped about it. I thought giving away a 3rd and 5th round pick and signing him to a big contract wasn't the best move for that franchise right now. But he's been great. Like he's been everything they paid. Every dollar has been worth it. Let me ask you this question though. Like I was doing some research yesterday on this. Would you rather for the next? I'll go because Darius Slay probably's got 3 really good years of football left. I'll go. Would you rather for the next 3 years have Darius Slay or Justin Blackmon and Quintez Cephas in the cap space? Because that's what the trade ended up being. Justin Black. So the Lions ended up trading that pick, the 3rd round pick.
I have no idea how. I have no idea how Blacksmith is doing.
So Quintez Cephas isn't very good. Justin Blackmon is playing really well, but he tore his Achilles earlier this year. But he had a really good rookie year, and he was out to a really good start this year. He was like on a Pro Bowl level.
Yeah,
he's a safety.
I'm gonna go Darius Slay.
Okay. No, I think that's probably the right pick.
I think he's playing good football.
Yeah, no, it's a good pick. I was curious because I knew we traded a 3rd and 5th round pick, so I went back and I just wanted to see what those draft picks ended up being. Yeah. And the Lions flipped that pick to the Colts. The Colts took Justin Blackmon, who's been really good, and then Quintez Cephas went in the 5th round, and he's been up or down. He's like a 3rd wide receiver, probably ceiling. So yeah, no, it ended up being a really good trade, and I want to give Howie Roseman some credit there because I wasn't a huge fan of it when they made that trade. Okay, big picture, Elda, quick before we touch on the Saints here. I think the biggest thing to take away from over the last 3 weeks is, and we kind of touched on at the beginning of this episode, is this team has juice again. Like they're exciting, they're fun to watch. You want to look forward to watching them. And the next half of this year, or the next 8 games or 7 games, are going to be fun, and you're going to be looking forward to them. And that's really all you can ask for from this year. That's all I wanted from this year, and it's there. It's there for the taking, and I'm really looking forward to see how this kind of all pans out.
Yeah, I think you nailed it pretty good, and want to see much more of the running game. I'm excited to see how they do it. Like we're going to transfer into the Saints, of course, but that is one test where you're really going to see the running game that we've been seeing dominating for 3 weeks. We're going to see it go up against the biggest test of the season. We said the same thing last year going against the Saints, and the running game dominated. So we're going to see if Sirianni can come out here and sort of, manifest his will a little bit on this defense and say, all right, you have a good running team, good running defense. We don't give a shit. We're just going to run it at you anyway. We're going to do what we do best. And I think Jalen Hurts is really thriving under the reduced volume that he has to put on his shoulders. And when he makes decisions now, we're seeing much better decisions. And we see, he has more, what do you say? He looks a little bit more in control, and
after the Lions game, I noticed it. Like after the last 2 games, I've really noticed like he looks like a quarterback. Here's some just Jalen Hurts stats. Like I'll just quickly drop on you over the last 3 weeks. Hurts is first in EPA per play, first in EPA per play plus completion percentage above expectation, first in success rate, second in air yards. That one shocked me. Like that's impressive. 9th in completion percentage above guys like Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and Matthew Stafford. In the Eagles' offense over the last few weeks, they are first in EPA per drive, first in EPA per play, first in dropback EPA per play, and 4th in rush EPA per play. As a whole, the Eagles' offense is now 10th in EPA per play and 8th in offensive DVOA. Like it's been a complete 360.
Yeah, in every single analytical metric for this season, Eagles have a top 10 offense.
Yes. I didn't think that was happening. Did you?
That's pretty absurd. I mean, that's really absurd.
It's like I did not expect. I would have, if you told me they would have been 13th or 14th in offensive DVOA, I would have been that's good. That's like then okay, we've got progress. Like another 8th. Like it's really impressive.
And taking Jalen Hurts and every analytic on him throughout the season, he's right there in the middle of the league, in both EPA, DVOA. I know PFF likes him a little bit more. They have him as a top 10 quarterback, but otherwise he's right there in the middle of the pack, and that's pretty good considering the amount of games he's played.
And I know this is a conversation for the offseason and later on the stretch, but like what's the alternative if he's got to be, as of right now, like he's probably the front runner for the 2022 job, just because what's the alternative? Like there's not much, like what else are you going to get? Are you going to get better at this position with who? There's only, like you said, there's like 7 guys better than him right now in the league. So like I think he's got the front runner job. And anyways, that's a conversation for another day. All right, New Orleans Saints. I think this is a game. I'm going to stick with the defense here. I think this is a game the defense has to dominate. The defense has to take advantage of this Saints offense. I'm trying to find the injury report. I had it earlier and I can't find it now for the Saints. They're banged up. So
didn't practice. Ryan Ramczyk didn't practice. Alvin Kamara did practice.
So Kamara did practice. I knew the other 2 didn't. Like they're banged up.
And he's limited, but Ian Rappaport just said that he didn't. In fact, not. He did. In fact, not. Yeah, Kamara did not. Practice, as well as the tackles. They had him as limited on the team side, which is a little bit weird. But they said he didn't practice today because of MCL sprain, and it's not looking great for Sunday.
If a running back doesn't practice, usually if they don't practice on Thursday, there's probably not a good chance that they play. They actually have Thursday night football against the Bills too. So they probably might, like there's probably a good chance that those guys don't play.
Oh, excuse me. I'm looking at the team website for Wednesday. So Alvin was limited yesterday, and he didn't practice today.
Didn't practice today. Yes, yeah. And both tackles didn't as well. No, exactly. And like the Bills, the Thursday night game is Bills Saints on Thursday. So if I am the doctors in New Orleans, or if I'm running that team, or have any say in that team, I am holding those guys out for Sunday to make sure, or to see if they can play on Thursday, right? Like if they're a game time decision, then they're most likely not playing this Sunday.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. But yeah, I think this defense has to dominate. I think, and the defense has looked good against mediocre quarterbacks, right? Like they've been a perfect reflection of who they played. If they play a good quarterback, a Justin Herbert, a Dak Prescott, etc., then they haven't looked good. When they played quarterbacks like Sam Darnold, Teddy Bridgewater, and etc., then they look good. And Trevor Siemian, in my opinion, falls in the bucket of a Sam Darnold and Teddy Bridgewater. So this is a game where the defense has to keep them under 20 points. And I think if they do that, then they should have a good chance.
Yeah, I think really from what it comes down to is if the defense can play up to this Saints offense, if they do in fact miss Teron Armstead, Ryan Ramczyk, and Alvin Kamara, and Trevor Siemian is the quarterback, if you can't stop that, you don't even deserve to play. That's good point. Bad. I mean, and you have an offense going against maybe the best defense in the NFL right now. We can
that's
the top 3 at least, and they match up so well with what you do best. So this is a game where the defense has to step up, and I have zero faith in Jonathan Gannon doing that. But let's see. It's going to be. Can we agree that if the Eagles win this game, they're right there for the wild card?
I think they actually take the 7th spot. I could be wrong. I think if Carolina loses and Eagles win, that they take that 7th spot.
A lot of the other teams in that in the hunt for the 7th spot have had their bye weeks, so Eagles have a loss extra.
Gotcha.
Where some of the other teams have to play an extra game. So, but they're right there with them. Like tie.
I would go as far as saying that they're right there now. Like I know a win. I think a loss though would, like, 4 and 7 is tough, right?
Exactly. That's where I was going to go.
You'd have to kind of win 5 of your next 6, which. Again, the schedule is kind of a cupcake schedule, but it's tough. But yeah, like a win here is massive, and they haven't won at home yet. Like Malcolm Jenkins coming back, like the link is going to be rocking on Sunday at 1:00, and this is the time. Like this is
win a great home game for once.
Yes, they're 0-4 at home, man. Like they have not won a home game all year. This is such a good opportunity for this team. Like if you can get a nice win, and like I said, the Saints are banged up. The one thing you posted about this on your Twitter earlier today. Saints' run defense is really good, so we'll see if this kind of run offense can kind of counteract that.
I think they absolutely can. Eagles have so many facets of the running game, have so many variations that they should be able to go out there and do what they want to do.
All right, Thomas.
After go
on.
Sorry. I know we're on a tight schedule, but
go on.
After that, Giants, Jets, Washington, Giants, Washington.
It's like it can't get any more open than that. Like they should be favorites in every game going forward.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
If they win,
maybe not in Washington.
Yeah,
maybe not. Maybe well, now Chase Young's out too. Like that's a huge loss. Like I was surprised they were favorites in this game, but the injury report kind of does
Eagles
does kind of mirror that. Yeah, the Eagles are 2-point favorites right now at FanDuel.
Ugh.
Yeah. No, it's
I hate that line.
Well, like it makes sense, right? Like they're out to 2 starting tackles and their best offensive player in Trevor Siemian, so that does make sense if they were fully healthy.
Jonathan Gannon.
I know. Well, I know. It's gonna be interesting. I really hope I'm not ripping my hair out on this podcast in like a 34-31 loss to Trevor Siemian. Like I can't handle that.
Predictions?
Yeah, let's do it right now. That's what we're going to get to. All right, prediction time here. Look, we both predicted a loss last week, and they end up winning, which is good. We wanted to see that. I think this team's got something here. I think for this week, I think they're going to transition into the bye, playing really good football. They got the Saints and Jets coming up. Winners 2 of their last 3. Saints are severely banged up. The Eagles need a win at home. Again, Malcolm Jenkins returned to Philly. There's going to be there's going to be juice in that stadium, juice of this team. I think they come out with a win. I actually think they're going to win, not comfortably, but I think they're going to win nicely. I'm going 30-17 Eagles. Then they beat the Jets, hopefully the week after. They go on to buy 6-6, and then we'll kind of see from there. But I'm really feeling this team right now going forward, at least into this game.
Okay. I think this is going to be one of those games where we're going to be, after the game, we're going to be looking at it and saying the offense really did its part. I think they're going to come out and they're going to have to get a feel of the Saints defense. So I think they're going to come out a little bit shaky on offense in the first half, and they're going to play from behind because it's the Eagles defense, and they're going to give up a couple of touchdowns. And the offense is going to rally in the second half. We're going to be left with the same feeling that if Jalen Hurts got the ball back, we would have won the game. But I'm saying Saints 31, Eagles 28.
31-28, eh? Close game. Does Jake Elliott have a game-winning field goal? Or?
I think it's going to be. I think Saints going to go up 28, and Eagles be down like 14 points, something like that. And they're going to rally from behind in the fourth quarter, and Saints are going to hit a game-winning field goal, and we're going to be left there thinking if only Jalen got the ball back, he would have won this game.
All righty. So here we go. We're getting the fun time this season, man. This is going to be a fun ride. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Thomas will be back next Thursday, of course, and we will talk to you later.